I was reading this great book. It's called Uniquely Human, A Different Way of Seeing Autism by Barry M Prizant. Okay, I can't read it all in one go because I'm so excited about it. Okay, I can't read it all in one go because it's so like, every few pages I'm just like, I have to pause and stop because so much of it applies to me and my experiences as a child, and like I just want to cry because it's like, oh my god, like it's so hard to explain, and it's just like it just helps you understand yourself, your problems, other people's problems with you, like how they are like misunderstanding you, and it helps you see like, yeah, there is a solution, there is like there's a like it's like a bridge of understanding, and it's put in a way that anyone, like, you don't have to be autistic to understand it, and you don't have to be non-autistic to understand it. Both people, I mean, if you can read and stuff and you're high functioning enough to, you know, be able to, you know, like understand, and a bit emotionally mature and stuff, of course. Oh my god, I just like, it's such a good book, and the reason I wanted to make this video is because I was reading this chapter called social understanding. It's such a good chapter, and like when I read it, I always have to stop because I feel so sad, because I'm like, oh my god, like everything still applies to me, you know, because you think, oh, you know, you're an adult, you're mature, you know, whatever, I'm fine, you're in denial maybe, but when you read and you're, because he just mentions like children's cases, like, oh, this 5th grader, this teenager, you know, these are the problems they had at school, these are the difficulties they experienced, whatever, and I'm nowhere close to that age. I'm old, and even though I'm old, it still applies to me. It's just like, so it makes me sad because in a way it makes me feel like, oh my god, I haven't progressed at all, and maybe I'll never progress, but it's your wiring, it's your neurology, so it's kind of like, it's very like emotionally, like it makes you feel all kinds of things, but this chapter, I just had to, I had to make a video about it. So he's talking about all the misunderstandings in social situations, and you know, I'm sure neurologically there's a lot of explanations for it, like the autistic people, their mirror neurons don't work as well, or like they don't, you know, like if someone smiles at an autistic person, if someone smiles at me, my response is not to immediately smile back. I don't even think of that. I have to like remind myself, you're supposed to smile back, right? This is mirror neurons, or like, you know, other people will, they just pick it. It seems like like how he mentions in this chapter, the child says, you know, other people can do that, other people can do that. He's getting frustrated, and he's like, but it's not easy for me. So the man says, well, why not? And he's like, well, other people can read each other's minds. And that's how I always feel. I feel like it's like telepathy or something. It's like magic. How can they do it? And so he explains all the challenges with the social rules, all the like, you know, like the social expectations that autistic people don't realize are imposed on them. Like for me, the reason I'm making the video is to relate it to me as an adult, so people can understand how it still applies to adults, these type of things, right? So so god, I'm getting so like overwhelmed emotionally just thinking about this. Okay, but like social expectations, I don't understand. Like if someone to me seems angry or something, like very like black and white, I mean, I take it as black and white, you know, like, and I don't realize that there's a social expectation upon me to explain myself, right? I just think, oh my god, they're just angry at me, but really they're expecting me to give them an explanation, you know? They're like, well, if that's what you think, you know, I can't agree or whatever. And the social expectation is that you have to explain, and then you can come to an understanding, but I don't realize that. Or like another social expectation is people just make casual, light conversation. And with me, I'm very over formal. And when you're formal, first of all, you make people uncomfortable. And then, like, it's really, when you read this book, you realize all the mistakes you make. So with me, I realize I'm just so formal in the way that I talk to people that it makes me look aloof and snobby, and it makes them think that I'm talking to them like in a snobby way. Like, for instance, I don't think to just sit with someone, like, for example, my son's nurses, I don't think to just like sit with them and discuss, like, when the kids are sleeping or something, like, oh, and this and that, and joke with them and stuff. I don't think about that. I just think about, okay, well, this is my son's nurse. I'm gonna, I'm not gonna waste her time. Okay, I'm only gonna talk to her about things that are relevant to my son, right? Or, oh, so he did this and he did that, and that's what I'll be talking to her about, right? And then to her, she's like, because my social understanding is so poor, to her, she's like, she just sees me as like a servant for her son. Like, she's only telling me things that are relevant to my job. So she's very like alert and formal as well. And then I don't put people at ease because I'm just too formal. And the social expectation is like, no, you can relax, and you don't have to see people as just like this authority figure type of thing. Like, people are people, and like things like that, right? Like, you can talk to people about their kids, about their family, whatever, and it's fine. And with me, I feel like, oh, that might seem like a bit forthcoming of me, and like rude, like you're not honoring their position or something. So it's like differences in understanding, right? And so then he also gives tips for like neurotypical people. So he's like, you should be very direct, you should be very clear and specific. Don't use idioms, right? Like break a leg, especially for kids. They're like, what? Break a leg? Or just be very clear and direct. And to me, that still applies. If someone says to me like, I don't know, like, any type of idiom or something, even if it's meant sarcastically or as a joke, it's going to take me a while, and it won't get into my brain as well as if they just said what they really meant, And then the other thing that he mentions is like, when you're too honest as an autistic person, when you're too honest, people, that comes off as really rude, right? And then with me as an adult, I know that I've learned that by now. But then I don't know the boundaries. I don't know, okay, am I being too honest, or should I just hold back, and this and that can lead to confusion and misunderstandings too, because you don't know, is this appropriate or not, right? And so for me, what happens is then I err on the side of caution, and then I just or the opposite way, if I'm told, no, you're supposed to tell us, everything, or no, tell me what you mean, and then I just go overboard, and then I just tell them everything, and it's like they don't have time for that, and then that's not appropriate either. So there's like a very fine balance, and then because you're always, as an autistic person, you're always like, especially as an adult, I mean, kids are experiencing it, right, for the first time. For me, it's happened so many times, all the misunderstandings and stuff, that I'm just stressed out all the time. And I'm always just worried, oh my God, I'm going to be misunderstood. I'm going to be misunderstood. I'm going to be misunderstood. And that becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because like, then I'll just be quiet and shut up. And then I'm misunderstood in the sense that people think I just don't want to talk to them, or that I'm just, snobby, or that I hate them, or that I'm angry. And I'm not. I just think, oh, is this appropriate? I don't want to come off as flippant. Like, recently a situation happened. It was a very serious situation, and I was just thinking, okay, I'm gonna be nice, and I thought like my tone of voice and everything's okay, but I messed up in two things. One thing is I didn't give the lady eye contact, and the other thing is that actually I messed up even more. I even forgot to say hi to her, and I didn't give her eye contact because I myself was stressed about like being misunderstood, misinterpreted. And in my head, I really liked her outfit, and I thought like, she looked really slim from the last time I saw her and whatever. In my head, I was thinking, even though this is such a serious situation, I really want to tell her that her outfit looks nice on her and that, like, you know, she looks so slim and fit. But then I was like, well, that's not appropriate because that's not like like, this is a formal situation, and, you know, that might come off as flippant. And then later it turned out that all the little errors and social mistakes that I made were misinterpreted by her, and, you know, she thought that I was just angry. And I was thinking in my head, I was like, if I had just said that compliment about, you know, how nice she looks, she would have known I don't have any aversions and stuff, right? I'm just a very awkward person. I was trying to rein myself in. So, like, things like that. And obviously, I mean, like this guy, he writes, aware of their difficulty, many children apologize for themselves almost habitually, even without understanding what they're apologizing for. And that's me, right? So then you become overly apologetic and overly like a doormat because you're just like, whatever I do, I'm sure it's going to be wrong, right? And then you don't assert yourself properly. And then you like, especially for women, autistics, female autistics, they internalize it. So then, like, especially for male autistics, they say that generally they, like, act out. With female autistics, they internalize it. So with me, it's like, I'm always like, sorry, like, in my head, right? And I'm internalizing it. And then I'm just, like, automatically, like, always seeking out assurance and just very, like, unsure of myself, even in decisions and things that I clearly, like, I can trust myself and trust my judgment, but I don't, because I'm like, oh my God, that'll probably be a mistake too. And, you know, things like that. So, like, there's so many, this is just such a great book. He explains it all from the point of view of children, but like I say, it's like, it still applies to adults, right? And then he explains how to teach emotions, how not to teach emotions, how to label the emotions. Like he says, once the person understands the emotion, he can learn categories of experiences that he associates with that feeling, right? Like in my other videos, I've mentioned that I think it's alexithymia, where I have difficulty identifying what I'm feeling. Like if I'm just generally, if someone says anything, I'm just, I'm good, I'm fine. But I don't realize, oh, I'm stressed or I'm worried or I'm sad or I'm this or that, right? So even as an adult, it's useful to realize that you can categorize your experiences with a certain feeling, like, and you can work through it and be like, oh, that's what I'm feeling. I hope I explained that well. But like the grocery store, I keep bringing up grocery store. I just went to the grocery store today and I was just like frozen in my car, scared, and just like like I think agoraphobia, I guess that's what it is. Like you're just afraid that you'll never get out of the grocery store, and you're just like, you're so scared. Like I can't even explain, it's crazy. And then I was like calling people on my phone hoping someone would answer because I was so scared. And then I realized, oh, I'm scared. So this experience makes me scared. I didn't realize I was scared until I like really had to, I thought about like, what am I doing? I'm just in the car. That means I'm scared because I just find myself unable to get out. And then when I knew my feeling, then I used my CBT thought record thing, where you weigh the evidence for and against your fears and your beliefs and make them more balanced and rational beliefs, right? So then I was like, well, you know, nothing bad will happen. Grocery store. I'm so scared of the grocery store. And, you know, if people like judge me, that's okay. They won't see me again. Or if they do, like, by the law, they're not allowed to, like, you know, say anything rude or like, you know, harass or whatever. It was like all my irrational fears, I had to put them to rest one by one once I identified that I'm feeling fair. So he explains that too, because social understanding even applies to yourself, because in a way you're a social person too, right? Even if you're autistic and like you're not social at all, but you're still part of society, really. So it's even hard for an autistic person to understand themselves. And this book explains all the problems so well. It's such a good book. And yeah, so I just had to make this video to explain, like, it's still relevant even though I'm an adult and he's talking about children. Like, even on the cover you see there's children, and yet it still applies to me. It's just crazy. Yeah, okay. Thank you for watching.